I always like this dungeon in speedruns. I'm sure somebody out there in the chat knows a lot more than me because I've been trying to find this for the last bit. I remember there's some category of this. It might be an older route where they the route like at the beginning, as soon as they become adult, they go in, do about 2 minutes of this dungeon using a skip so they can get the dungeon item, leave, then come back like an hour and a half later using a ROM word and just go straight to the boss. I always thought it was like the funniest dungeon in the entire run. I don't remember what category it is now. I'm trying to look, but it's not anything obvious, I think.
So I have a pretty strong feeling that we might not see Maurice using his "Where am I" icon thing anymore during this match. I think that we're pretty much past the most of the confusion. The bottom of the well is not a particularly difficult dungeon. The Shadow Temple is pretty linear, really. It's
Shadow
very
Temple is
different.
like by far one of the easiest adult dungeons.
Yeah.
My little brother, the only reason he took a while on it is because he was scared of it.
But yeah, I have some things to say about the Shadow Temple. It's very different than your usual Zelda dungeon design. Yeah, I think I think this goal will probably be a little bit easier than the others since we've given them so many hints. Ganon's Tower, I think, is going to be fairly short. We'll probably do that as a standalone segment just because adding it to Spirit Temple is way overkill, but it's not hard on its own. Spirit Temple is the only one I'm concerned about just because it's a really long segment. There's a lot to do there. But I don't think any part of it is particularly difficult. We see Maurice is still deathless. 0 deaths on his file. So Maurice may be getting the secret reward at the end of the game.
I wonder what version my game cartridge is. I haven't actually checked. I think the gold cart's always the same one, but...
Yeah, I have the gold cart from right at release.
NUS 00601, so yeah, that's 1.1. I think that's what most of them are. It's a really, really valuable cartridge. It's like, it was like $80 a few months ago. I think it's down to 60.
Huh.
I think it's my most expensive N64 cartridge. I think it... Well, Paper Mario might have surpassed it. Let's see, what's my most expensive according to price charting? No, Ocarina of Time is more than Paper Mario now. Ocarina of Time gold card is $71. Paper Mario is $69. Oh my god, Pikmin 2 Wii went way up. I got this for like $5.
Yeah, I also picked it up because I really liked Pikmin 2 and I didn't want to have to dig out my regular Wii so I could play it on the Wii U. Huh, surprising.
December 2019, it was $17. It's $60 now.
Huh. Internet Dirigible says, did you trick me or is there an actual secret reward? Well, I might have tricked you anyways, but there is in fact a reward if you complete the game with no deaths, and you wait on the credits. It'll play the Scarecrow's song as an Easter egg, and that's only if you get it 0 deaths. Shoutouts to Gotcha Force. I've never even heard of that game.
Yeah, Gacha Force is insanely expensive. I got all my N64 games when I bought them all from a neighbor as a kid. My whole N64 set for like $60, and now like one cartridge alone is $60. Pikmin 2 Wii I think I got because I saw Chuck Conroy play it, and so I saw it in the game store. I was like, oh, I'll buy it. It's really cheap. It's no longer cheap. Let's see, what else, according to this? Pokemon Red went way up for some reason. I don't know why that cartridge is so expensive now. Mario Kart Wii is $35 now. SM64 is $30, Mario Party 8 is $30. My Japanese Terranigma cart went up by like $6.
Alright, looks like everybody is readied up and our race is starting.
So luckily if they read, they already know they have to go to Kakariko.
Well, if they've got the Song of Storms, I think that they can go directly back and that they can get the, they can open the well. I don't think that they need the Song of Shadows.
They have to watch the cutscene first.
They can't get into the well without it?
No, I believe you have to watch the cutscene. Well, no, you can... Yeah, you don't have to watch the cutscene for that.
But they will need to get the song in order to enter the temple. Unless they know some really great out-of-bounds shenanigans.
Oh, yeah, they might actually need it first, just... They might need to watch the cutscene first just so they get the Nocturne. I don't think... I'm not sure if you can... No, you can definitely go into bottom of the well.
Alright, so we see Indie Filter and Puffer King have gone to Kakariko. They're going to get to see the legendary Kakariko on Fire cutscene. We are going to see an interesting difference here between Indie Filter and Puffer King, I think. Puffer King is playing the Virtual Console version of Ocarina of Time, and as a result, he's going to see some different textures here for this mysterious creature who is attacking Sheik here. For some reason, the Virtual Console version was not able to accurately render this. So here it just looks like a sort of a mist, whereas I believe we'll see an Indie Filter screen. It'll be more of a pixelated nonsense. Yeah, it's a little bit different here. I think perhaps it's a little bit hard to see it here on the restream, but it's got sort of a noisy effect to it on Indie Filters, whereas on Puffers it's just sort of a blah. All right. Well, we'll know for certain if there's an issue. This could be the mysterious thing where, despite giving them all of the hints, we've still managed to throw them off.
We got half the players becoming a child first.
Well, Snowdozer went straight to being a child, but hadn't seen the cutscene yet to learn the Prelude of Light. So we'll probably find out really quick here. If Maurice has any difficulty getting into the well, that's a sign of, oh no, we messed up. Hopefully he'll just be able to get into the well, and then the rest of the goal will go very smoothly here, because this is not a very complicated goal. Despite the number of steps involved in it, it's all pretty much just contained right here in Kakariko Village. This is also the last dungeon we'll see where we're retreading old ground. We visited 3 areas as a child. We visited the Deku Forest, the Goron Mountains, and we visited the Zora River. And then as soon as we became an adult, we just redid those 3 areas again for the previous 3 dungeons. And now we're going back to Kakariko Village. It's a lot of, we're not really seeing much new content here. But thankfully that'll change in the next... It'll change in the next
He's got
goal.
an important piece of content right there. You got the Stone of Agony.
Yes, yeah, Maurice picking up the Stone of Agony. You gotta have a Rumble Pack to use that, but that will reveal some secrets for you. And yes, I agree. Spirit Temple is going to be pretty long. Just like in real life, if a windmill goes too fast, all of the water will drain out of your well, because that's how wells work.
So I don't think Indie Filter is seeing have to pull out the Ocarina. I think Butler might have missed it too. What? You got an Ocarina?
Alright, Snowdozer's looking to get a reward for the Skulltulas. Gotta find the kid who turned back to normal. And Snowdozer is now officially an adult. Has an adult wallet, can now carry $200. Children may only carry $99 on them at any given time.
Adults are allowed to carry a lot of money.
Maurice is using wall hacks, just walks straight through that wall like it isn't there.
Another very famous dungeon for anybody who watches a lot of speedruns of this game, because a lot of categories end up doing a little part of this dungeon.
Well, Snowdozer is going for the puns here. Well, now what? Yeah, so this bottom of the well, really not sure what's going on here. This area is like spooky to the max. We've drained the water out of the well. There's a whole dungeon down here. We've got corpses and we've got monsters and demons here, and it's gonna get darker as we get deeper here. I feel like there's some lore going on in this bottom of the well dungeon that is pretty significant. That's really not touched upon, despite all of the random stuff that we've got in You know, we've got the Hyrule Legend of Zelda, you know, timeline and all that, but you know, what is going on underneath this well? What is even happening?
I'm pretty sure Hyrule Historia says nothing about it. So weird. They retconned a lot of information in that book, but they didn't touch upon the bottom of the well at all and why it's like this.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, maybe the plot here is that this is the happy mask salesman where he takes his victims.
Hey, silver rupees. You remember these?
Yeah, we saw a lot of these silver rupees as an adult, and all of a sudden, here they go, they're showing up as a child, too. Is it just my imagination, or do these redeads go down way faster than I remember? As a kid, I remember these things taking about 40,000 hits, and Maurice took that one out with like 3 jump slashes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it only takes 3 jump slashes. I never used jump slashes as a kid, so it probably took me a long time.
I think also Maurice might be getting double hits there. Jump slashing, hitting more than once.
You got a dungeon map. We can see the dungeon. It's been so long since I've seen anybody like actually do this dungeon. I forgot it had 3 floors.
Yeah, although I think one of the floors is just this giant room with all of these passages. Although you keep falling down here and having to redo it as a consequence. Alright, so Snowdozer has made it into the bottom of the well as well. And we see Indy Filter just entering the bottom of the well. Puffer King a little bit further behind. What is Puffer King? Oh, Puffer King is going to get Din's Fire. Okay, so Puffer King does not have Din's Fire yet. So it's a good thing we gave that hint. Otherwise, they would have been stuck trying to figure out how to get inside of the Shadow Temple for quite a while, I think. Yeah, so Anisette brings up another good point that I wanted to mention as well. This is a really unusual part of the game, too. In your typical Legend of Zelda game, you have an ever-expanding inventory of stuff. It just every time you go to a new area, you get a new item and you get more things. Ocarina of Time really is very different than the other games in that it's got this whole become an adult, be a child, become an adult mechanic. And when you become an adult, you lose access to all of your child equipment. And then when you have this dungeon here that now you were an adult and you had a bunch of adult equipment, now you're a child again and you've lost all that. Now you're back to using your slingshot and your boomerang. That's a really unusual structure here because now the players they can't use any of this cool stuff that they had previously found.
Okay, this room reminds me of that room in Super Mario 64.
Yeah, it's not surprising either. I think Miyamoto had mentioned he very deliberately took a lot of the concepts from Super Mario 64 and reused some of them for Ocarina of Time. Particularly some puzzles that he had come up with that didn't work in Mario 64 that he still wanted to use. Snowdozer has made a mistake here. Snowdozer figures he's going to use Din's Fire and he is going to annihilate all of these bats in a fiery implosion. That doesn't work. It literally sets the bats on fire, and now you have fire bats instead.
Maurice just like running through all the bats half the time, trying to light all the torches.
Yeah, the slingshot is also a significant downgrade from your bow. That the bow is really fast and accurate. This slingshot's kind of crappy. It's a little bit slow to fire. It has a bad arc to it. So it's really a headache trying to go from having that sweet bow and arrow to getting this great hook shot. Alright, Snowdozer trying to get this key here. Oh, here we go. Snowdozer gets it. I think Snowdozer got the key faster than Maurice. I think this is actually a point where we can say definitively that Snowdozer is in fact ahead of Maurice. And Puffer King is being a grown-up again. Interested what Puffer King is planning to do here. Unless Puffer King has lost a step of the plot here, but we'll figure this out shortly. So now that Snowdozer has the key, he is able to get a little bit deeper in this dungeon. There are a couple of places that the players can lose a lot of time here. Most significantly, there are a couple of places where there are false floors. And if the players aren't careful, they keep falling down those false floors and they'll have to escape from the basement before they can keep exploring. Yeah, like just what Maurice had. Although that's a Gibdo, not a Redead. Those are completely different enemies in the Zelda canon, and you must absolutely not mistake them for each other. But did Puffer King not get the Song of Storms yet? A little bit of questionable routing here from Puffer King for getting the Song of Storms, but hopefully he'll pick things up shortly. So now the players need to look for a keyhole that they can put
Maurice
this
is
key
going to the right place. Anybody who's ever tried to speedrun this game automatically knows this crawl space. This is the origins of a very well-known glitch in this game.
He's trying to take out this little laser tower. Beamos, I think, is the name of the enemy. Not going to do that with your slingshot. You could do it with the... Alright, so you see Maurice employing a little bit of a strategy here. Using the slingshot to try to identify the false floors.
Good strategy.
Yeah, I like this.
I've definitely done it in Oracle of Ages. There's that one place with the invisible floor where you're given a set of instructions that you need to follow.
Yeah, following the instructions is for crazy folks.
It's hard too. Like, it's not easy. It's just like follow these instructions, way every path is the same size as Link, and there are dead ends if you move slightly off.
That's how you play Castlevania 2 as well.
So the real strat is to just drop seeds in front of you. I think there's two areas where that happens. One of them is way worse than the other. watching this, and Pony is having a very similar problem with players, so it's just a bunch of invisible stuff.
Got it. There's just a Skulltula on this route.
I don't think there's very few Zelda games that have ever figured out how to deal with money.
I want to say that I like Wind Waker's approach of just give you the biggest infinite wallet at the beginning.
Phantom Hourglass.
Phantom Hourglass did money good. Wind Waker did money good. Majora's Mask did money weird, but good. Breath of the Wild did money good. You just get money and then you spend all of it on arrows every time.
Yeah.
Maurice discovers this dungeon. Haha, you fell through the floor. Really funny.
I mean, maybe he should have been more careful.
Oh, I think Snowdozer's picked up on the correct thread here. Here we go. He gets that musical staff. That's a good hint.
I've never thought of this dungeon as well. Doing this dungeon, what they're in now, bottom of the well. I've always thought of this now, but I've never thought of the Shadow Dungeon. It's the fourth. I always end up doing that last.
So we're looking for some opinion here, Alpha. There's not a lot of lore surrounding the bottom of the well. This is a creepy area. We've got all of these corpses laying around. We're going to discover some weird torture equipment down here. What do you think is actually going on down here? Why does this place even exist?
So I have all three of the Zelda encyclopedias, and I'm pretty sure one of them explains what bottom of the well is, or what the heck it was. It's really hard to say, because it seems like this is the area that the old, maybe it's catacombs of the old, because the royal graveyard's right next door, right? So maybe just over time everything kind of moved, and this is where the old catacombs of the old royal burial ground was. Explain why it's so intricate.
Here you go, Maurice fighting Dead Hand now. What a fun boss fight.
Suddenly Dead Hand's gone. What is Maurice going to do? Maurice is just going to get grabbed by the forehead. That's the only way to do it.
Anybody who's ever tried to run this game or learn anything about it has done this boss fight way too many times.
I remember people were trying to figure out exactly how Dead Hand works, and they just don't. It sucks. But it is terrifying.
Yeah, my little brother was very scared of these two dungeons as a kid.
I will say, for the Master Quest version of OOT, this dungeon's easier. All of the fake floors are gone.
Huh.
It's all visible.
I don't remember that.
Down.
Well, it's because the Lens of Truth is the final reward. I think it's found at the very, very, very bottom.
Yeah, but you don't need to go to the very bottom, do you? You just need the Lens of Truth and you're done here.
Right, but that's what I was saying is, they changed it so you have to do the whole thing. So they got rid of the fake stuff. That's the difference in Master Quest. Is you only have to do, what is it, half of this, sort of? You'll fall into it a bunch, but...
Also, to anybody who's ever tried to learn this game, it's also funny because you go and kill Dead Hand, but not to get the Lens of Truth. You do it just to reload the area.
Yeah.
It spawns the Lens of Truth chest and they just walk out of the room. It was always a really funny part to me. In this Skulltula, you would clip through the vine on here. Yes.
All right, Snowdozer's taken out Dead Hand, and it's going to pick up the Lens of Truth here. So making good progress.
Yeah, you do it to get bomb shoes early. Some routes use a different way to get bomb shoes early, which I'm not going to spoil, but I always like this one. It's at the beginning of every single one, so you'll see this dungeon a million times if
early bottom
anybody.
of the well is very common, and I think what they're missing, the choose early in OOT 3D is something they don't have because they changed something about the bottom of the well. It didn't quite do the part that you need. If I remember correctly, I just remember that being in GDT commentary. Is that if they could get choose early, but the earliest choose take longer than any time save they have.
Snowdozer has the lens of truth as well now.
Crash Cat has posted in the video game chats, apparently when they clicked on the paste bin gave them some related ads, and the related ads were Legend of Zelda on Nintendo, Ocarina of Time on GameCube, Play Legend of Zelda, and Take a Depression Test.
I think the Take a Depression Test is just, going around to everyone now.
And Lost for Words is finished in first place with an SRL time of 23 minutes, 32 seconds. No surprise there, they are not blind to the game.
That's a good time for this segment, wow.
If they know how to do bottom of the well, Shadow Temple's really short.
Well, you don't even need to do the bottom of the well if you know what you're doing.
Oh, I guess that's true. That might slow down their next time. Yeah, and I think even in Shadow Temple, it kind of it kind of hints as to where the fake walls are, if I'm remembering it.
Yeah, Shadow Temple, I think without the Lens of Truth is not that hard. The only hard part is you need to have a strategy for defeating Bongo Bongo without being able to see him. But everything else you can just memorize.
Right, Bongo Bongo, that I remember.
Apparently Bongo Bongo's a really hard boss, according to a lot of people.
I have never died to Bongo Bongo.
Yeah, I have never had
this
trouble
game.
with him.
He put up his hands and oh, big scary, and then I just hit it with a sword and he died.
I'm pretty sure I even one-cycled him, as a kid. Okay, Maurice has not watched the Nocturne cutscene.
Yeah, so Maurice doesn't know where the actual dungeon is. You have to go back to being an adult and you have to play the Nocturne of Shadow. That's the only way you can get to the dungeon without engaging in some arbitrary shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? You hook shot onto the wall and you just wall run the entire way up there?
No, you do a glitch called Super Slide Teleport.
I thought there was at one point there was a wall run that they did in one of the categories.
Well, yeah, that's how you get over there. You have to get up using a Super Slide Teleport.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
a very funny glitch for people who are who haven't seen it. I'll link it.
But yeah, I always, every time I played this, I always got Lens of Truth and then did the other temple. I never ever thought to go to Shadow next, because info wasn't there immediately or something like that. Or it's probably because I did bottom of the well earlier, and then I had a horse.
Wait, did Saria tell them to go to the desert?
If that's also true, then that would explain maybe why I also did Spirit next.
That's okay.
That's weird, because I'm pretty sure canonically Shadow is the next medallion.
I don't know if they have it canonically. I think that maybe that's true if you look at the ordering of it. Shadow
the
would
order
be
on the
next.
screen.
But there are definitely things that kind of tell you, hey, go do Spirit Temple.
Oh my god, Snowdozer has looking for the House of the Dead all the time. No! Oh my god.
No, that's right. House of the Dead is
Yeah,
the next
please.
dungeon.
Yeah, but you don't have to look for it. Also, I'm pretty sure... Didn't he watch the Nocturne cutscene? No, wait, he didn't. Okay, yeah, he used to go watch the Nocturne cutscene as well.
What's the trigger for the Nocturne cutscene? You just walk into Kakariko after 3 medallions,
Yeah, I believe
and
that's
it's on
correct.
fire.
Yep.
Are you warning people against going to the desert?
Yeah, I've given them a reminder.
I did say go to the House of the Dead. Yeah, as soon as you get the Lens of Truth, you can go there.
Yeah, I mean, you can beat... You don't need Lens of Truth for any of this, but it's... dull.
Getting to the desert without the Lens of Truth in a blind playthrough is pretty much impossible.
I'm pretty sure... Well, no, because you just have to go to certain points, and you have like 3 options each time. You can kind of brute force the desert.
Yeah, so this is odd. Yeah, I didn't realize that Saria was going to tell you to go to the desert, because... This is odd. I would have thought that she would have hinted to you that you needed to do something. Something in Kakariko.
Sorry, I just told Maurice nothing.
Yeah,
Told him absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they need to go to Kakariko. Okay, this is... Yeah, Maurice is up to rank 5 confusion. Hopefully, as soon as he goes into Kakariko Village, figure it out.
Yeah, I think maybe it's rather than you doing bottom of the well, which I don't know if you told them to go do bottom of the well.
Yeah, they were told to go to the bottom of the well. They needed something to... They needed the Lens of Truth to see invisible things.
Yeah, and I guess depending on... Because you need to be an adult to get the Song of the Storm. So, I guess depending on when they got that, they would have seen the Prelude of Shadow cutscene.
Yeah, well, originally I was going to suggest putting into the Pace Spin to get the Song of Storms and the Nocturne of Shadow, but I figured, the Song of Storms is enough. I guess I should have never underestimated.
I didn't realize you could... I thought you just walked in and it was already on fire.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah,
But
so how do you get the Song of Storms without getting Prelude if,
They got it
Nocturne?
before.
you got it in a
Yeah,
previous
If you
goal.
got it before, yeah.
I like Maurice trying to take a shortcut here, but the shortcut's actually longer.
Yeah. He'll be fine.
Where's he gonna go?
He's trying to get to Kakariko from the Fire Temple, but it's actually way longer.
Oh, it's significantly longer. That's how he's getting to Kakariko. Well, you know, maybe he's got, you know, the mold. Maybe he's got some eye drops with his Goron. Oh wait, he could go buy Giant's Knife. He's got 200 rupees.
So this is good for Snowdozer. Snowdozer's gonna get the cutscene here. Yeah, and Anisep's pointing out the cutscene is triggered by entering Kakariko from Hyrule Field. So there's a chance that Maurice is going to enter here and is not going to get the cutscene.
I never thought about that. That is not something I even considered was entering Kakariko Village the way
Why would
Maurice
you
is
come
doing
from this side?
it. So
Yeah,
much
it's
slower.
this is incredibly slow. Why would you do this?
Like, just
It was literally
temple
right in front
warping,
of it.
walking out the door, and then, like, it's Kakariko's right there.
And he even has Epona. He could ride Epona over there.
You could also ride opponent in the desert.
Okay, Snowdozer's got the cutscene.
I don't. Everything around Shadow Temple is just weird because you don't get a good item. You don't get like nothing with Shadow is required for like anything.
Yeah,
It's
Shadow
incorrect.
Temple
you
is
get the best item from it.
Shadow Temple is really odd because you get the dungeon item like immediately. It's the first thing you get, and then the whole dungeon is just a linear sequence of just everything.
For stupid shoes.
It's the best item.
I like the hover boots. The hover boots are kind of fun.
Oh, they're fun.
That was my favorite item as a kid. That's my little brother's favorite item too. He would always
You
call
put them on, you can't
bunny
fall
shoes.
ever. It does make one fight easier. It does make penultimate boss fight a little bit easier.
Pufferfish King taking an awfully long time there to decide to warp to the graveyard. Now this is also interesting for Maurice because Maurice actually got a spoiler to this game the other day. I don't know if you folks noticed in the video games chat, but Maurice had a friend who asked for him to print out a 3D print of the Kakariko graveyard, and when he did that, it printed out this map, including the part of the map in the back where the Shadow Temple is located. So I think we've also got a strange situation here where Maurice knows that that's where the Shadow Temple is, but he doesn't know how to get there.
Well, does he know that it's the Shadow Temple?
I think he does. I think he has a very strong inkling that that's it.
Yeah, and alright, I see Pufferfish King using that to inspire.
So I think we've got an interesting situation here where I think Maurice is actually going to be behind the other players.
Yeah, as soon as Snowdozer gets the Nocturne, this will be really fast.
Yeah, hopefully he immediately plays it and realizes that it's not taking him where he wants to be, or that it's going to take him straight where he wants to be.
I don't know what Indie Filter is doing. Indie Filter has the Nocturne.
I don't know. Maybe Indie Filter might be thinking, go to the graveyard, use the Eye of Truth, and it will reveal something.
Maurice is like wondering what the heck they're supposed to be doing. Entered Kakariko every way except the correct one.
So those are
The map highlighting and blipping, telling them to go to Gerudo Valley and the desert.
Yeah, Saria was pretty insistent. Go to the desert, and as I put in the chat, I said, you don't want to go to the desert in this goal.
I've never done Shadow Temple first, but I guess like in terms of dungeons, Spirit is the coolest, like by a lot. I wonder if he's going to the desert.
There we go, warp to the graveyard.
Oh,
Maurice
here we
will
go.
just finish next week's goal before having done this week's goal.
Wow, and Maurice told me that wasn't even legal.
Well, all he has to do is not kill Twin Rova, and then he'll have such a fast goal next week. It'll be like 5 minutes long.
Those are not standing on the middle platform when using Inspire.
Yeah, but he got it in the
Is that all
second
of them?
attempt.
Shoutouts to Boney, who was standing in front of a pedestal with a Deku Princess on it, asking where do I play the song that opens Woodfall Temple.
Inspire. My little brother got stuck on that for a while as a kid. I got my little brother to start playing Majora's Mask again.
Every time I watch Boney play it, I'm just gonna like hundo the entire game again. Like I love that game. There's so few things I can think of that are wrong with it.
I think my little brother maybe just got through first cycle last night. And he didn't almost run out of time this time.
Ah, Indie Filter remembered. Song of the Sun equals good. Just ignore every redead. Not in the place they want to be, but they remembered it. Yeah, like every hidden wall in this dungeon is one of those creepy faces. And so why bother? Just walk into every single one of them. I remember I did that because I thought equipping the Lens of Truth was hard because I needed bombs and arrows equipped at all times. I think hover boots are required to beat this dungeon, right? Like there's one jump you can't do unless you know, do a mega flip or something.
Yeah, they're required.
Yeah, Maurice is very lost at the moment. Just wandering around in the overworld.
I'm just thinking, next week's goal, this one might be short. Next week's goal might be a thing.
Yeah, next week's goal is pretty long. There's a lot to do. They've got to do the mandatory stealth segment because, of course, every Legend of Zelda game needs a stealth segment. Then you've got crossing the desert, so you got puzzles, and then you've got the Spirit Temple, which is the dungeon so nice you have to do it twice.
But it's not even the same rooms, and it's also a long dungeon too, like for both sides.
Yeah, it is a very long dungeon.
And it's got one of the hardest like the mini boss is one of the hardest fights in the game.
Alright, how long before Maurice decides to go back to Kakariko and take another look around? Mercifully, we've saved him from going to the desert, because if he went to the desert, he would be doing next week's goal just with a fury.
I do love his loss meter actively going up despite him not trying anything.
Yeah.
Well, look, but I was told not to go to the desert, but it's telling me to go to the desert. What do I do?
This is a uniquely Maurice situation. Maurice really, really hates puzzles in games where you have to figure out where to go. This is the one thing he hates more than anything. So this is actively working against Maurice uniquely.
I also hate it, but I don't think anybody ever expected someone to think that the fastest way to Kakariko is to warp to the mountain crater.
Oh yeah, this is 100% self-inflicted. Although I think part of what was working in Maurice's mind was he had that bean that he planted in the crater, and he really wanted to get that, so that may have been part of what worked against him. Oh, here we go. He's gonna go fishing. Fishing will work.
At the very least, it'll be neat.
Yeah, he'll go fishing. We may take some pity on Maurice after he's done with his fishing expedition and give him a hint. But right now, Snowdozer, Puffer King, and Indie Filter are in the lead. We're going to go ahead and we're going to let them keep building up that lead for the moment.
That was to the boots in this game just not being things that you really use. You're done using them. Like, just the one dungeon, and it's okay. Iron boots are at least better than hover.
Alright, Snowdozer facing off against round 2 of Dead Hand. Snowdozer really wants to get these jump slashes.
It's got a power crouch stab, a technique you might do but not realize it. Probably the easiest glitch in this entire game because it's really weird.
Oh, the hover boots are so much fun. The bunny shoes, as my little brother always called them.
Uh-oh, Maurice. Caught a fish, but lost it. Pufferfish has got the sacred feet, aka the hover boots, and it is gliding around the dungeon. And Snowdozer just defeated Dead Hand and is also picking up the hover boots. So Indie Filter just has to. Here we go. Indie Filter spots the secret back passage that takes him to the hover boots. Yeah, so this is a really odd dungeon in Zelda design because here we see Snowdozer is less than 6 minutes into the dungeon and it's already got the dungeon item. That's a thing that really you don't see that except for like in the really old Zelda games that are just really tiny dungeons. So this whole dungeon just assumes that you've got these boots and.
I mean, even in those, like, you still do about half the dungeon before you get something, unless you're counting, like, however the items were laid out in Zelda 1 for getting the boom. 5 rooms to get them.
Yeah, Zelda 1 being very different because a lot of the items... Zelda 2 was the same way, just a lot of items that you don't actually use in the dungeon. Like, the dungeon item is unrelated to the rest of the dungeon.
Yeah, like, but almost all of the rest of them are just like you have done half the dungeon after Link's Awakening and A Link to the Past. They have you get the dungeon item, and then Link to the Past had you do like the second half of the dungeon, and then Link's Awakening started changing it with to save on space. It was you redo the dungeon, but now you have this new thing that lets you do all these other things. So they started layering stuff on top of each other. This one just gives you hover boots and says have fun. There are jumps that you can now make. Like that one. That Pufferfish King just fell in.
Yeah, the Ice Palace is also really, I think, unusual in that you can skip, like, majority of the puzzles just by having the Wand of Samaria from the next dungeon, because you don't need the Ice Palace item.
What's nice? Oh right, it's a tunic. Yeah, there's so few. A Link to the Past is weird in that way. They stopped giving out the tunics and stuff.
Yeah, that was before like the Zelda formula was well defined.
Yeah, it all started kind of happening with Link's Awakening being the formula of modern Zelda. And then there was whatever A Link Between Worlds was, which made me sad.
I love hookshotting to the Gyarados. That's an interesting way to fight them.
I like it. You could also just play Song of the Sun, if Pufferfish King ever found that.
Ice Palace Bomb Jump. Yeah, Ice Palace Bomb Jump helps a bit. Yeah, actually, yeah, that does let you just basically skip everything.
In skipping everything, this room with a compass actually is a very difficult trick you can do to skip the entire rest of the Shadow Temple. And just remember that room. I've never actually tried to do that trick. You got the hover boots. The downside, no traction.
Also,
I'm
think
probably
Maurice...
the only person that's a fan of ice physics in games, so...
I think Maurice has decided to set the Rumble Pack accessory on the emulator as well, because now the guy is talking about his Rumble Pack.
What if Maurice could find the sinking lure?
Yeah, I don't know if you have to catch the Lunker before you can get the sinking lure.
You have to beat his record once. Or like you have to catch a certain pound of fish that only happens after you're an adult. That's a big boy.
Oh, look at this genius move here by Snowdozer. Snowdozer ducking by pulling out the shield and dodging those blades. This is some
Literally
pro-level strats.
never thought about that ever.
Yeah, that's actually genius.
I always rolled under them or just walked with it. Or just didn't care and took the damage, because it's not like it does anything other than damage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just running through and taking damage. Although Snowdozer's taken some pretty deep hits here, so it's not a bad idea to conserve some health.
Usually, Zelda doesn't even have a second row of hearts yet either, so... But it's a quarter heart of damage every time it touches you.
Yeah, it's really not very much, but...
It seems so much more threatening.
I mean, in real life, being decapitated hurts pretty bad. In The Legend of Zelda, apparently that's 1/4 of a heart.
It's moving slow, and those don't seem very sharp. Maybe it's the number of polygons on the N64.
We need the
No,
double.
you don't have to worry about dodging the
version.
blade. You've already seen that it doesn't help you.
Race is pulling in this fish. This one is fighting him. Might be the legendary lunker here.
Nah. You can tell that fish's body ain't long enough. Let me think of Zelda games that have fish. You got this one. You have
TP.
yeah, you have Twilight Princess. You have a Link's Awakening.
I mean, in the Link to the Past, you can drain the swamp temple, pick up a fish, and carry the fish somewhere. Does that count as fishing?
Yeah, but you don't really. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Like, kind of fishing, but you don't. The fish are already out of the water when that happens.
Almost down.
He's almost got it.
Got this fish. Oh, come on, man.
This is definitely how
Floppy
fishing
fish.
works in real life.
It does. The fish is using air
He's even
boosts.
turning. Like he's not. I don't even think he's using the. Join the chat for a second.
Oh,
Oh.
somebody probably got moved to the wrong channel. 20 pounds.
Who right clicks and moves? Who doesn't just drag and move?
You'll want to keep this one, right?
Yeah, I think this will probably get Maurice the legendary golden scale. Maurice attempts to...
He can fish off, if I'm remembering this right, the guy's hat.
Yes, you can, and then he yells
He
at
gets
you.
very upset and I think throws you out.
I think if you lose his hat, he charges you money for it.
I love Zelda games kicking you out of mini games. My favorite one is Phantom Hourglass. There's the digging mini game in that game, and if you cheat, the statue gets really mad at you, and then after like the third time, he takes all your money, and then he bans you from it. And like Linebeck has special dialogue just for it. That was always one of my favorite parts of that game.
Twilight Prince, or Phantom Hourglass is just a phenomenal game. It has actual character development. It's got a way better boat than the first Wind Waker. The remake master of Wind Waker makes the boat a lot better.
This game's got a pretty good boat. We're gonna be seeing it soon.
No, just skip it.
We actually saw the boat. Snowdozer, there's a shortcut in one of the rooms that Snowdozer used. Of course, you can't enter it from that side, but you can see the boat.
Oh, I love these crushers, by the way.
Maurice is going to the top of the tallest building, only to get stabbed by a bird.
These crushers are really funny. Anything that makes the sound is always really funny to me.
See
Why does
Snowdozer.
Snowdozer's lost meter say the sacred feet?
Yes, it does. Because he found the sacred feet.
Did he? I don't see them equipped. Why would you ever take them off after putting them on?
Because having permanent ice physics is basically hard mode.
That's always my favorite. I'm the only person that's actually a fan of ice physics in games. I always love the ice levels. You can always do really funny, cool platforming stuff on ice.
Maurice gets one of the more obscure pieces of heart. The one where you have to dive to the very bottom of the water lab.
Here. Maurice waiting for this bird.
And unfortunately, Snowdozer got grabbed by a sealing master and was taken back to the start of the dungeon, I think.
Fire arrows even required in this game?
What, fire arrows?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't think so.
Warp to the Lost Woods.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
Snowdozer's going to top up his fairy supply, which is good,
good.
decision making. Yeah, I mean, we can see here that Maurice is really frustrated. A lot of time running in circles. And Maurice really prefers when a game just tells him where to go.
I wonder if Maurice is gonna just ignore your advice and go to the desert anyway.
He could.
His time for the next goal could be 0 seconds.
Maybe Maurice will go to Kakariko Village now.
The obvious way, and not the not obvious way. No, he wants to go fight Ganon.
Oh, he hasn't even gone this way yet. Yeah, I get to see Ganon's tower here.
Well, he can skip the cutscene next time.
Oh yeah, this is a good move for Snowdozer. Snowdozer didn't have any fairies and was low on hearts, so this'll give him 3 full life meters for exploring the Shadow Temple. Yeah, so Glitch Witch. The current status for Maurice is that Maurice went to be a child, collected the Lens of Truth, and then returned to being an adult. However, Maurice, being too clever for the game, decided that he was going to warp to the Death Mountain crater so that he could pick up a piece of heart on his way to Kakariko. And by entering Kakariko Village from the Death Mountain crater entrance, did not receive the cutscene.
That chest spawns from killing all the redeads. Ought to be something stupid. Yeah, it is something stupid.
I'm sorry,
you got
what's
a blue
stupid?
rupee. The chest for Pufferfish King.
Oh.
I forgot you kill all the redeads. Just you got a blue rupee.
I'm pretty sure that that's one of those dynamic chests that if he didn't have a Hylian shield, it would contain a Hylian shield.
We cannot get this upgrade outside of Ganon's castle for a while.
Yeah, it's actually pretty much the last upgrade you can get because you need to get the gold gauntlets from Ganon's tower and then leave in order to get it. I'll probably, I think in our last pay spin for Ganon's Tower, we'll probably just mention that there's something out there for them to get in the event that they feel less than completely confident in their combat abilities.
To be fair, I think even when I play it, I think I'll be getting that.
Maurice jumped into some lava,
I-
darkness, whatever it is.
Yeah, I feel like it's just some sort of ambiguous void.
Yeah, it's like there's something flowing down there. I looked at it, I'm like, it seems very red, but I don't remember it being that red.
Oh yeah, it's just a small key on the floor. It like pops out of something. I think that's one of the only times in this game that ever happens.
Here we go. Maurice is entering Kakariko Village from the correct side now. And is going to be treated to a cutscene. Here we go. Honeybee 511 asks, who's ahead? I want to say Puffer Fish King is in the lead here. Snowdozer following behind. Third place is Indie Filter, and Maurice is actually in last place, if you will believe it. For the record here, so the way this went forward, Pufferfish King and Indie Filter started by doing a couple of errands. They, with the pay spin, gave them a few hints for this goal that they needed to get the. They did need to pick up the Din's Fire from Hyrule Castle, which Puffer King did not have yet. They also needed to go get the Song of Storms from Kakariko Village as an adult. Snowdozer and Maurice already had both of those items, so they went directly to the well as a child and did the bottom of the well. And then where things really got mixed up here is that Snowdozer figured things out pretty quickly, went directly to Kakariko Village, got the cutscene, figured out, oh, I need to play the song, and did fine. Pufferfish King and Indie Filter figured that out as well. Maurice was really thrown off. Maurice decided to take a shortcut by warping to Death Mountain Crater so that he could pick up a piece of heart that he had unlocked by planting a magic bean. And unfortunately, by entering Kakariko Village from the back entrance, did not get this mandatory cutscene. Because the mandatory cutscene gives you the song that lets you reach the Shadow Temple entrance.
Blame the limitations of the N64.
Yeah, so Snowdozer here keeps getting caught by the ceiling masters in this dungeon. And they keep taking him all the way back to the entrance.
I don't think Puffer's King is noting that the fans turned off after some time.
No, I think Puffer notices.
Okay, good. I'm pretty sure you can just run across the gap.
Oh, here we go. Pufferfish King going with iron
You
bootstraps.
With the hover boots, I'm pretty sure you can just run across that gap. I don't think I've ever equipped long shot.
I didn't even know you could hookshot onto that.
I mean, it's a wood texture. You can hookshot basically everything with a wood texture in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's also something in the Shadow Temple that, or in the Spirit Temple that you can hookshot onto that we'll bring up when you get to it. That demonstrates that somebody in the level design department was apparently being inappropriate. So our players, we're seeing a lot of the same areas here. Indie Filter, we keep seeing in this room here with the BMOS. Maybe they didn't realize you can bomb this one wall. No, I think that they've bombed it. No, they haven't bombed it. Alright, so that's where they're stuck. They need to bomb it. They keep hitting this BMOS with the hook shot. Hook shot can't kill the BMOS, it only stuns it. To kill a BMOS there, they have to use bombs. That's the only way. There we go. Maurice finds the entrance to the Shadow Temple and is in, and I feel like should be pretty smooth going from here on out.
You got a bundle of arrows.
Alright, Nico. Normally I wouldn't update you on what Boney just did in Majora's Mask, but he just tried to set a torch on fire with water.
That sounds like a bony move.
If that's something you wanted to know happened.
Please clip that and post that.
I'm gonna.
Boney, as much as we make fun of Boney, Boney is in fact a national treasure.
We love Boney.
I love Boney.
So you should let the wind guide you. You have the hover boots on.
Snowdozer really incredibly pleased with himself, having led a Staphos off of a ledge to defeat it.
I remember my little brother found that as a kid. He thought it was like the funniest thing ever. Puffer's King finds the hidden ledge. There we go. We're supposed to let the wind guide you.
Alright, so Snowdozer has all but one of the... Alright, Snowdozer's figured it out. Snowdozer knows you can bomb these suckers. That's good. That's going to get him his last silver rupee.
I do love Snowdozer keeping the hover boots on. Correct boots.
There you go, Nico. See that?
Thank you.
It's phenomenal because he says it out loud too.
It's between watching Boney, Blind Race, Majora's Mask, and watching these Ocarina of Time blind races. It's incredible, all of the things that I've absolutely taken for granted in these games. That things that I say, this is so much obviousness that why would Nintendo give you such a deliberate hint here? And then I see this. I see players not figuring out that, yeah, there's just... Tattle is trying to tell you that you need to aim up and shoot it. You know? It seems so obvious, and yet it's not obvious. Or you need to go watch this cutscene at Kakariko and realizing actually that's not so obvious that that's the next place you've got to go.
I think that this is a little forgivable because Saria in the game tries to make you go to Spirit Temple. Even though this is technically, I guess, the next dungeon, I know as a kid I did Spirit Temple first because I thought that's what the game wanted me to do.
Yeah, I'm interested. I need to check it again. There's a text dump in the on game FAQs for this. I need to read that and see if there's any text for Navi actually telling you to go here. Yeah, I think that
I think maybe after you do Spirit, you're told to go to the graveyard.
maybe. But yeah, I
Or
expect.
maybe the flow of progress, and this would be a really weird one, is you're supposed to get to the desert, the Lost Desert, and then Navi says to go to Kakariko because you have to do bottom of the well. That would be weird, but I've never done that because I always did bottom of the well way earlier. Because you learn Song of Storms, and then you're just like, it said the kid did that, so you go back in time, you do it then.
Pufferfish King taking a death here, walks up to a pot. The pot gets all poltergeist on him, slams him in the face and kills him. Thankfully, Pufferfish does have a fairy that is going to keep him alive.
That will not be the last time that happens with the pots, by the way.
The one thing to remember about Zelda games, it's different from a lot of other games, is that if you can't figure out something, you might want to try whatever musical instrument you have, because after A Link to the Past, a lot of Zelda games are just like, hey, you're doing stuff with songs, like, all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a theme that Ocarina of Time really started, where every one of the games has some central gimmick item that they built the whole game around.
I mean, technically, it started off with Link's Awakening on the basis that the entire point of that game is to assemble a bunch of instruments to wake a whale. Or I guess it's a fish.
Oh,
that just happens
okay.
to look like a humpback whale.
I got the order of the medallions wrong on the file screen. I've never actually looked at this since I was a kid. Apparently Spirit is next in the rotation. Well, Shadow is an easier dungeon anyway. I think Spirit would be a fitting final dungeon.
Yeah, we really don't want to do Spirit now. Especially, that would be just an egregiously long goal. Spirit is already going to be too long. Adding the bottom of the well to that goal, that would be unreasonable.
Yeah, in terms of a segmented race, it makes sense, but I think just people end up doing Spirit.
Yeah, Nocturne is left of Requiem.
Oh, here we go. Here's the boat. Here's the best part. The auto-scroller.
I think the songs are backwards. Like, there's stuff that's backwards all over the time. Yeah, here's the boat.
But it's more, I think it's really very likely that you'll get the Nocturne before the Requiem. Whereas, I guess the hints that Saria gives you tells you tells you to go to the desert next. That's really interesting. So that's something, because I always did the graveyard before Spirit Temple, including when I was a kid on my first blind playthrough. It seemed obvious.
Yeah, I had the hint from Saria saying to go to the desert, and I did not get Nocturne of Shadow.
Imagine ever needing to call Saria as a kid.
Or not Saria, sorry, Navi or whatever.
No, it was Saria. You were correct.
Oh, it's Saria, yeah. I mean, I just called people like, where do I go? It's also very possible that what I did was I ended up just going to the desert because I wasn't paying attention to that. And I have this horse, and I could go there because I could hook shot across with the long shot. Now that I got that, because the hook shot didn't quite cut it.
I missed it. Did Snowdozer get caught by another Sealing Master?
I think so. The ship is sinking. it just drops off. I always thought that looked really funny.
All right, Puffer King is really close to the end here. This is a pretty straightforward and pretty easy dungeon. It would also, see, that's another thing. It would be really anticlimactic to do this dungeon last, because this is a fairly short dungeon compared to, Spirit Temple being huge, really strong thematically.
Like, I always thought that, and like, Spirit Temple is like like literally half the writing for this game is. Like, there's so much plot dump in Spirit Temple.
Yeah, plus
And then in this one, you just walk into it, and then it's just like, oh hey, all this stuff's going on. Who's the sage? It's Impa. Neat. Like, Shadow Temple feels, I guess, the word I'd use, unfinished in ways. But yeah, every 3D Zelda game has basically just been an iteration of OOT at the end of the day, except for Breath of the Wild, which is just kind of insanity. Great game.
Yeah, and someday we'll get Breath of the Wild too.
Well,
I sure hope not this year for our draft sake.
Who counterpicked that?
I don't think anybody did.
Wait, what?
Like, so we have this draft where we're drafting, basically guessing what games come out and are going to be good and what their ratings are. Breath of the Wild is an option you can pick.
Oh god, Spin
It's
drafted
probably
it.
going to get maximum points.
It will literally get perfect points.
But if it does, it's going to get at least 20 points. The max you can get is 25. But like, if the game comes out, then great, you get points. If it doesn't come out, you get 0, which is better than it having less than like a 70s overall for reviews, because then you get negative points. So Spinby picked that up, and I think someone counterpicked it, but like
nobody counterpicked it.
Yeah, it's such a poison pill because like great, you're sure it's not gonna come out, but it counterpick it, and if it comes out, it's just loot. So meanwhile, I counterpicked TPC's first pick because he picked Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Which is such a catastrophe of everything in the news so far.
I should have gone with the full blood draft.
You counterpicked Nier Replicant.
They're gonna mess something up with it.
I don't think they are.
Or it's going to play too closely to the original. People are gonna be like, oh my god, why does this game play like an old game? And then if it's too different, people are gonna be like, why does it play like the original?
I think Replicant was the one that people considered better compared to it and Gestalt, but only Japan got Gestalt. Or got Replicant.
Yeah, but then if it plays too differently, they're gonna be like, oh, why doesn't it play like the old game? And if it plays too similar to the old one, they're gonna be like, why doesn't it play different?
There are some games that will probably just win on the soundtrack alone. Automata, despite being a good game, is one of the games that can. Anyway, Shadow Temple's
got these
happening.
bomb throws. My little brother got stuck on these bomb throws for so long.
So I'm curious if Maurice will get any bonus here. Maurice being the one who figured out the Goron pot, getting the heart container from that. So maybe Maurice will.
It's not hard to do that. Oh, is it just money, or do you get a key?
One of them had a key in it, I thought. Yeah, Albert 999999. So what we've got going on here, this is a blind race of Ocarina of Time. We have found 4 people here who have never played The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time before, and we are watching with cruel amusement as they attempt to solve all of these puzzles completely blind. Yeah, this is officially a race, and the players have got a little bit of a hint. So what we've done is we give the players a paste bin that contains a couple of hints on how to play the game. We spell out a goal for them. We give them a little bit of direction. This goal has been a little bit more direction than usual on account of the fact that this is a pretty confusing part of the game. We have given them some hints on how to get to this dungeon, since it's not particularly clear. And they have made it through the majority of today's goal. When we started this race, the players had all completed dungeon number 3, the Water Temple, and we directed them to complete dungeon number 4, the Shadow Temple. Although since we've started this race, we've got a little bit of confusion or disagreement on which dungeon truly can be considered dungeon number 4 and which is number 5. It was easier back in in the simpler days of Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, where the dungeons just had big old numbers on the map screen that said "Go here."
Link's Awakening. You really couldn't unless you cheat.
Yeah, that's a Zelda 1, where they're also numbered.
Yeah, they're numbered. Yeah, they're numbered. I don't know if they're numbered beyond this game. I mean, I guess they're kind of numbered in Majora's Mask, considering you can't really, there's no reason to go do the other dungeons before you finish.
Majora's
In a lot of other games, there's a set dungeon order.
Yeah, some of them you can get away with not doing the next dungeon. Like A Link to the Past has some events that are triggered by particular dungeon completion, so that one doesn't let you switch around. But Majora's Mask, yeah, I mean, once you get the dungeon item, you could go to the next dungeon, but the order you need the dungeon items is pretty strict.
Not even the dungeon item, but like, for example, to get to the bay, you need the horse. In order to do that, you have to beat the dungeon up by the powder keg to get your horse.
So, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure TP has a set dungeon order. I've never tried to actually do them out of order.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's also like event triggered. Anyway, Boney might be watching, so maybe we'll not give him any hints for...
No, he's not watching.
Oh, he's not watching? He's still...
No, he's playing Majora's Mask. He's trying to figure out how to make a crying baby stop.
Oh, the crying baby. I hope his chat is filming with baby rage.
I'm gonna go post haha baby. I hate that emo. I hate that it exists.
Alright, Pufferfish King is close here. Pufferfish King opening the door to Bongo Bongo. So here we are, final battle of the dungeon. And smart move here by smart move by Pufferfish King here as well. Having the hover boots makes this fight a little bit easier because it gives you more time to aim while you're bouncing in the air.
I like this boss. This boss is really fun. I always thought he looked really cool too. My little brother always thought this was like the hardest boss in the whole game.
I don't know.
I don't know. I still don't understand that.
Easy.
Pufferfish King, disproving that adage of what you can't see can't hurt you. In this game, yeah, you can't see him, but he can definitely hurt you pretty bad. Ooh, and Pufferfish does not have a fairy either, so this is going to be a little bit of a sketchy fight here.
Stab the eyeball.
There it is.
But not when the hand is trying to punch you in the face.
Oof. Pufferfish King only getting one hit that cycle. And there he is. He gets the one punch KO. It is One Punch Man versus Puffer King, and Puffer King has taken to death. The good news is this dungeon is really structured in a convenient way that you just take that shortcut to get to the boat, and it gets you to the end pretty quickly, but not as quickly as it could be. Snowdozer making some progress here. Snowdozer's in the Room of Fans. here we go. Maurice spotting the block of time here. That'll get him a couple of hearts. Pufferfish King. What is Puffer King doing? Oh, maybe he got turned around at the start? Or maybe he's looking for some fairies here. Yeah, Puffer would benefit very greatly from finding an easy source of fairies like Snowdozer has done.
Yeah, like casting Minuet of the Forest, which I think I did after like every time of being in this dungeon. Or like every time I left, I was like, Minuet of the Forest, and then grab all those fairies, they're right there.
Or go to Kakariko and buy some potions. So those are taking advantage of this Song of Sun. That stuns the Gibdos, makes them a little bit easier to deal with. Man, these enemies are going down so much faster than I remember as a kid. I remember this being way more time consuming.
We were all stupid kids.
Apparently.
That's why I always think it's funny when people complain, like, they play, like, I don't know, a Mario RPG, and like, oh my god, this game's so tutorial heavy, why do they have to explain everything to you? And then every single person also has a story where, like, oh yeah, I got stuck on this for, like, weeks as a kid, I never figured this out. I always thought that was really funny to me. Every single person has one of those stories.
Alright, so here is Snowdozer making the genius move here, using Feyor's Wind to create a checkpoint. If he happens to get grabbed by a Wall Master, that'll be it. It'll be a free warp back. Alright, so Snowdozer recognizes there is a chest here somewhere. I think what he's got to figure out is this pile of whatever the heck this stuff is on the floor. Looks like just a lump of flesh. Actually can be blown up.
Talk to Saria again? Do you want to talk to Saria again? She doesn't give you any information right here. She just tells you, oh, we need to awaken all the sages. I think Puffer's trying to remember a song right now. Or not? Okay, just gonna go run, get some health restoring items.
Yeah, this has been a consistent issue for Pufferfish King. Pufferfish King has done fairly well when confronted with puzzles, but I think we've seen Pufferfish King taking a lot of death on boss fights. Whereas Snowdozer has been very conservative in making sure that he's always carrying several fairies around, having as much health as possible. Pufferfish King has been doing just a lot of YOLO here. Just running into the dungeon with empty bottles and saying, whatever the heck, let's just do it. I think Maurice is... Yeah, alright, Maurice is taking off the boots finally. So Maurice is in a bit of a pickle here that he doesn't realize he can just walk on top of these things. He's gonna do like this fancy jump here. There was no reason to do that. You could just walk across the top of the Crusher, Maurice.
Speedruns do a funny little clip of the back.
You're probably overthinking it.
Alright, so I think Snowdozer has realized that the only possible place for that last key that he's looking for is in the chest that he can't find in this next room. So hopefully he will stay focused on that and figure out that he's just got to bomb the whatever it is, the schmutt on the ground, and blow that up to get the item.
Inventory opening. Hammer, okay. Well, hammer's not a bad idea.
Hammer's not a bad idea. Fire's not a bad idea. Yeah, maybe he can see that there's this little whatever it is. There we go, getting out the bombs.
Yeah,
it's bomb time.
Bombs.
The Megaton Hammer was more useful other than it just does a little bit more damage.
You found a small key.
Yeah, the hammer is actually not that bad of an item. It's good for getting rid of those boulders that you would normally have to use the bombs to blow up.
Yeah, but it just after you've gotten the hammer, like you're kind of past all the parts where you would even use it.
I mean, it's also not a bad weapon for combat. We saw in the previous race, Snowdozer absolutely dominated Dark Link with the hammer. It was an effortless fight as soon as he whipped that out.
It's funny because the way you attack with it, because Dark Link reads your movements, it can't read Dirt buttons.
Just too much for the N64 to handle.
Well, I think that was like how you're supposed to deal with that fight.
I'm going to say that I don't think that they had any idea how you were supposed to deal with it. They just imagined that you just keep throwing yourself at it until he died.
I think Deku Nuts were the way.
Although Deku Nuts only work if you're not locked on. You have to not lock on and aim to the side, otherwise he blinds them.
There's just a small key on the ground. I'm still pretty sure that's the only time that happens in the entire game.
You might be... No, there's also a key laying on the ground in the bottom of the well in the room where you open up the coffins.
Oh, yeah.
It's a coffin. Oh no. So I forgot how to play Zelda's Lullaby.
And Exuno points out there's also one in Gerudo Training Grounds.
I wonder if anybody's gonna go to Gerudo Training Grounds. Don't hint them away from it.
I was gonna put a thing in the paste bin that says that Gerudo Training Grounds is the most optional thing in the entire game.
Yeah, but what do they really, really want?
I think that we could goad Maurice into doing it.
Absolutely.
If it's a side thing, well, it's not a minigame. That's the problem.
It's kind of a minigame. You're opening chests and wondering which one is an ice trap.
Yeah, I think it counts as a minigame. You've also got horse archery. That is a major minigame in the next
Horse
one.
archery is so hard.
I'm sure Maurice will spend like 2 hours.
Actually, no, wait, no. Horse archery is not that bad once you get it, but like until you line it up good, it's impossible. Maurice get okay, you did get it. I'm sure.
Gosh, those almost fell off the boat. So I believe you don't actually have to kill these Stalfos.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wait.
Pretty sure that Snowdozer can just jump. Man and ship!
Shout out to the lag. Gotta love the N64. It could not handle that many things on the screen at the same time.
I mean, this game should be impossible. They did a lot of things that weren't done back then to make this possible. Like, everything that is not on the screen is not being rendered. Which seems like an obvious thing to do, except it's hard to figure out what was and what wasn't on the screen. And they did something they did. It's like, that's why the Stalfos fights are
Some things are still rendered and have loading zones, which is like the weirdest thing. Like, all the boss rooms loading zones are still there no matter where you are in the dungeon. At every single point in the dungeon, the boss room is loaded. Well, it's not loaded, but the loading zone is still there.
Probably to make sure that didn't fail. Shadow's got weird stuff in it, like that eyeball. Oh, Maurice, recover! Oh no! Maurice's sacred feet are not good enough.
Maurice is absolutely dedicated to wearing these as much as possible. Here we go. Snowdozer has had enough of these guys, just setting the whole world on fire.
Good idea. That's actually a really good way to take them out.
That's a good way, especially because they always drop these little magic vials anyways, so it's not like you lose magic doing it.
And since Din's Spire is only a cutscene for you, it's the instant kill.
Okay, Bumper's King is almost back at Bongo Bongo.
Oh, Maurice is aiming for that switch that I don't think does anything. Fake.
Hey, what's up? Hey!
I like how many people complain about Navi and then they get stuck on trivially easy things that Navi tells you about.
I mean, you gotta listen to Navi. She's there to help, man.
I always like people complaining about her also from like a lore perspective when like imagine if you were Link and like you had nobody was your friend and then you finally had a friend who helped you and you were suddenly thrust into, oh, you have to be the hero of the whole world. Like, okay, you're like 10 years old, go out and save the world. Like, I'd be pretty happy to have Navi by my side.
Yeah, I mean, she's helpful. She also knows, like, everything. For some reason, she knows every monster in the entire world. You know, like, you fall into this ancient crypt that hasn't been opened in 10,000 years. And she's like, oh yeah, that's Bongo Bongo. He's a dude.
I don't know his weakness. I know everything's weakness, except the bosses for some reason. That would just be too easy.
Overking King dies again. Gets back up. I guess you can hookshot Bongo Bongo.
Yeah, you can hookshot the arms. Oh, you can hookshot his head too. It's pretty hard.
I don't know, I always got him with arrows and then hit him with a sword until he died.
Maurice figuring out the fleshy whatever it is on the ground way faster. Gets that key. Here we go, Snowdozer gets one bomb in.
Puffer King, what are you doing?
Ooh, I think that's two bombs.
Bongo Bongo off though.
Here is the Bongo Bongo death. Yeah, see, in this version, it just turns into like fog or something like that, because the N64 can't really render whatever the heck's going on here. Whereas Indie Filter, I think, well, the other players, when we see them do this, they're gonna see the they're gonna see Bongo Bongo turn into just like a staticky goo.
Are they playing on the GameCube version?
Pufferfish King is playing the Virtual Console version, like on the Switch, I think. Maybe
on the Wii U.
Hey, look, it's Impa. We've seen her before.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I think Snowdozer nailed it. There we go. That's just a pile of rupees. Because really, all he needed in here... Actually, I think that this room might have been completely optional. So I think the key might have been in the other room.
Yeah, this one has a skull shell in it.
Huh.
I like info. Speedruns usually only see info for like 3 frames before this. Because you skip Zelda's lullaby cutscene.
Snowdozer...
Actually, you usually skip this cutscene too.
Snowdozer very unenthusiastic that he completed the bomb basketball and received no prize.
I remember finding out how to skip this cutscene, the Shadow Medallion cutscene, was like a huge discovery. Fairly recent. It was probably like 2017 that it was discovered.
Oh, here we go. Snowdozer figuring out immediately what he's supposed to do here.
Gotta burn
I
the
think
wood.
Navi warns you, like, there's wood, burn it. Like, I think that room gives you a hint.
Well, whatever it was, I don't think Snowdozer got that hint. Here's
yeah,
the key.
my little brother got stuck on that one. Here's the cool little chest. Yeah, also that's why it's so dim. Wii U Virtual Console is really dim on like every single console, especially GBA. GBA is the worst.
I still think that, like, the best fact about the Wii U Virtual Console is if you're playing Donkey Kong 64, they speedrun it on there because despite the fact that it, like, removes glitches that save, like, 15 minutes, the Wii U version is still 15 minutes faster because it's like it's happening.
The N64 just couldn't handle that 3-point
Well, there's also
texture
a memory
filtering.
leak going on the entire time for DK64 that unless you have the expansion pack, you, like, can't play the game.
It couldn't handle the 3-point texture filtering. It was just too much. I believe the N64 was... well, actually, I know this. It was the first console to ever have texture filtering. That's why N64 games look like that.
Alright, Snowdozer here. A little bit of a high five with Maurice, passing through the same room. Just needs to figure out how to get across this this giant moat.
Disappointment in the history of humanity.
Yeah, Snowdozer was very disappointed that he received no rewards for the basketball puzzle.
I was trying to hookshot. Oh, now he went somewhere. Where'd you go?
Yeah, I think that's a Scarecrow song ledge.
The only one who got
Definitely.
Scarecrow Kong was Maurice.
Yeah, this is going to be a troll for Snowdozer. What Snowdozer really needs to do is just needs to get the bow and arrow out and just needs to shoot these bombs. He might be under the mistaken impression that he's supposed to be crossing it and then bombing it to get back. Hopefully he figures out how to get across this.
Stuck on the map, but there's nothing really anywhere.
ship is sinking. Oh god, she almost fell off too. In 64 processor is like, oh thank god I don't have to render that boat anymore. I can't filter all these textures.
Even if Soda's prepared to hookshot the bombs, like it would do something.
I don't think hook shot will work. I think if you shoot them with the bow, it'll detonate them. There's nothing else in the dungeon. Snowdozer has everything here. He's nothing, no chests that he's missed. Yeah, and I think he's being thrown off by the statue head too, thinking the statue head is trying to draw my attention, but that's actually just a statue that has fallen over, and that you're supposed to maybe think of the other statue. Maybe gonna take another look here in the bomb room, just in case that he has missed something in here. Oh, it's unfortunate that these respawn, because these are a total waste here.
I don't think they'll waste any time with it.
Ooh, Maurice with the basketball. Just get a bunch of rupees.
Yeah, Navi here is just absolutely trolling. Because there's nothing that Snowdozer can do about this.
Yeah. Snowdozer just needs to look around. Maybe Navi moves to the other side if you walk elsewhere.
No, I don't think so. Well, maybe. Maybe if you walk over towards the ledge, maybe she'll say something. But yeah, so this is where the game is really cruelly trying to mess with Snowdozer, because in several of the previous goals,
They gave Snowdozer the least descriptive game.
in several of the previous goals, Alpha, that's a really dumb hint.
Well, if you want to give him a better hint. Right, not registering bomb flowers.
I mean, it's also possible he doesn't recognize what they are.
Whatever you make it.
You can't. Not like that. Can do a glitch involving the Megaton hammer and the hover boots actually to make it across. Maurice is on the bongo bongo.
Couldn't you also just like super slide?
Yeah, but hover sliding is easier. Maurice bait up a lot of time.
Yes, he did.
Moving on to bongo bongo.
I wonder why Andy told this picking up all these rupees in the full wallet. I usually just stare at rupees like that, disappointingly.
little bit too slow there for Maurice.
No traction.
I think Maurice has probably seen Bongo Bongo in like one of the other 1,000 games Nintendo has put Bongo Bongo in.
Yeah, including several Zelda games. See Bongo Bongo in Minish Cap, I think.
That's none of the ones that Maurice has played though. I believe the only one Maurice said that he played was TP. And, well, maybe for a little while.
Bongo Bongo's in Minish. It's the one you use the mole mitts on. It's literally the same boss. Exactly the same boss.
I'm trying to see if there's like a list of bosses that are like this.
Oh, and he filters on the spike room.
For some reason, Maurice going with manual aim strats here for that.
Fortunate they don't have ice arrow. The only thing they're useful for in the entire game.
You can't one Psycho Bongo with jump slashes.
No, you got a PSP.
What?
Or sorry, PC.
Yeah, power crouch stab.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can do it with normal slashes. However, King literally just did it.
I thought they got hits in earlier. Yeah, power crouch stab. The easiest glitch in the game.
Yeah, this is
Boss
gonna
keeps
take a
on
while
going.
longer.
It was a weird thing, but this game has the capability to do damage threshold levels where they can knock you away, but they just don't.
Oh, here we go. Snowdozer's got the right item. Can he hit the bombs?
The bow.
One miss.
Maurice takes a death, but
It's
of
gonna
course
be really
he's
hard on a keyboard.
Yeah, Snowdozer had this problem in the previous goal as well. There was a puzzle where he had to hit a pretty precise hookshot target. He found that he does have an option to switch to mouse control, and so he'll probably use mouse control
What
here
are
to
you
hit
doing
these
right
things.
now? Oh, this looks bad.
The good news is there's no timing here. He just has to hit it once.
They have lots of problems with Big Boy Bongo.
He ran out of arrows. Luckily, Bongo does drop arrows. But it's a good thing they didn't make this boss fight impossible. Good on you,
It's a long
Nintendo.
shot.
I forgot he missed the shot.
Handy Filter figuring out the room with the crushers, picking up the boss key. So all our players are really close here. This is a very close fight, really. Very close race.
That part's so bad.
There is the kill shot from Maurice. So Bongo Bongo is defeated. He turns into this weird staticky goo. This is the actual way it's supposed to look. with this staticky effect to it. You don't get that on the Wii U version. The Wii U version has a couple of rendering issues that cause some problems.
Nintendo forgot how to emulate their own systems.
But, of course, Bongo Bongo will return. We'll see him again. He appears in Super Mario 64, appears in Minish Cap. What other games does Bongo Bongo show up in, Alpha?
SM64.
I said that.
One I was thinking. There's a bunch. I'm trying to find.
Mario Kart DS.
Super Mario Odyssey. Oh, that's right. Yeah, shows up in Super Mario Odyssey. The Mayan Temple Boss.
Mario Tennis Aces.
Ooh, Snowdozer.
Okay, I think I found a list.
I think I might have gotten the ones that like most people wouldn't have gotten.
Bongo Bongo's basically in Wind Waker.
Here we go.
Andross, I guess.
Internet Dirigible has already ruined it by linking to TV Tropes, the worst website on the internet.
Boulder Guys is somewhat similar, I guess. Another boss fight that's apparently infamously hard. When I played Galaxy like 2 weeks ago, it was the easiest boss fight ever.
What boss fight?
Boulder Guys Daredevil. You literally hold right and you can't get hit. But it's like an infamously hard boss fight.
Boulder Guys?
Yeah, the Ghostly Galaxy boss. Apparently it's like super infamous and a lot of people could never beat it. And I never understood why. I think Nintendo games...
I know I 100%ed that game. I think that was the hardest one to do. Because I didn't know about the hold right thing.
Yeah, if you literally just hold a direction, you just can't get hit. If you actually try to dodge anything, like, you just win. Puffer's King, you just had the right timing.
Alright, Snowdozer getting plenty of hits here. Maurice finishing with an SRL time of 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 38 seconds here. Maurice lost a lot of time in this goal as a consequence of entering Kakariko Village from the wrong direction.
Like a ding-dong.
He's right in front of it, too.
Right, this might be close for Snowdozer. Snowdozer, I think, doesn't have any more fairies. Does he? Oh, Snowdozer did not have any fairies left. He was so close. What is Maurice doing? Maurice, you're off the timer.
Maybe he's just checking the these guys. You're not close to 100.
Okay, Maurice, Maurice, undone and redone. Okay.
That's fair.
156.32.
Maybe if someone else beat him, he
hours
wasn't gonna do that, but now wanted to because now he has giant wallet. I don't think you need money for anything in OOT though. Is the problem.
I wonder if Maurice will sub 16 hours for the game.
I mean, that seems about right.
Probably not, but maybe sub 17.
Well, it's about right if you're just trying to beat the game and not enjoy it.
He's done so many mini games though. He's done like every major mini game.
Yeah, but he's not doing the trading sequence. That's the important part.
So we're going to encourage Maurice to do Gerudo Training Grounds next goal, correct?
Yeah, Maurice is barely ahead of Puffer's King right now.
Man, it would help Snowdozer out so much if he realized that he can kill this guy by hitting him in the back.
Sadly, my goal of under 2 hours did not come to fruition. I think I could do under 2:30 though.
Next segment will be the Spirit Temple. It'll be a bit of a lengthy goal. There's a lot to do in that segment. All right, I think this is Indie Filter's first attempt at Bongo Bongo. Of course, the real trick to defeating Bongo Bongo is if you are playing on the GameCube and you plug in the DK bongos, you can in fact play the bongos and defeat him instantly. It's a reference to OG Legend of Zelda being able to defeat the Pole's voice by speaking into the microphone. The Filter takes a death here, but does have fairies, so he is going to be safe.
I wonder how many games on the Famicom actually use that microphone. I can only think of like 2.
The Legend of Zelda, Takeshi's Challenge.
Yeah, those are the 2.
There was a karate game where you could blow and like you could do puffs of was it a karate game or maybe an Indiana Jones style game where you could blow puffs of air.
There is a video on YouTube of a guy beating
Kid
Bongo
Icarus.
Bongo with DK Bongo, although he used sets of bongos.
It's used in Kid Icarus.
Really? What does it do in Kid Icarus?
If you hold down the A button on the second controller, speaking to the microphone, you can haggle with the shopkeeper in the Japanese version.
Weird.
And then Takeshi's Challenge, of course. Raid on Bungling Bay, SD Common Rider, and Atlantis no Nazo. Oh yeah, I knew it worked in Atlantis.
Ooh, Indie Filter keeps having trouble here actually scoring hits against Bongo Bongo. Here's another loss here by Indie Filter. Do they have another another fairy? I think they have 3 bottles with fairies at this point. We did hint the players on the locations of the 2 reasonable bottles to collect. So the players all have the option to have 3 bottles at this point. And then of course there's the 4th and completely unreasonable bottle that none of the players will ever collect because it's just not worth it. Indie Filter insistence on running away from Bongo Bongo before doing these jump slashes. Or he's asking, are there any mini games you haven't found? There's
Yes.
there's the
Big
chess
one.
Excuse me?
There's a big one coming up next week.
Yeah, but there's one that he has missed. He missed the chest game in Hyrule Castle.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That
Hey, we
is
can
a
actually
good
do
one.
that one now.
Yeah,
Well, you could do it before.
had to get lucky. But there's 2 really big mini games for next week. Make sure to do both of them.
narrowly hit it there, Indie Filter.
I think
Come
we'll do
on.
it.
It's got to be almost done here.
Bongo Bongo does not have that much health.
There it is. There's the final blow by Indie Filter.
Yeah, you can chain jump slashes. I'm pretty sure it requires a frame perfect jump slash though, but this is a 20 FPS game.
The quota guy running DK64. This is a frame perfect trick, but we're running it on the N64, so it's like a 1 in 3 chance.
It couldn't handle all that texture filtering. I'm with Gerudo. I think the N64 texture filtering is incredibly ugly. I hate how like every N64 game looks because of that. Oh, at first I saw Indie Filter step in the blue warp. I was like, oh no, you messed up. Then I realized that's what you're supposed to do. Probably because I just did my Fire Temple segment like 2 days ago, and I failed the wrong warp.
And then what was the trick again for defeating Bongo Bongo? You throw a bomb down the thing
Yeah.
and it damages him because his hitbox is active before it starts.
Yeah, you can just throw it down, and it'll, I think it, like, instantly stuns him, and then you just, like, hit him once. What's great is runs do that, and then they like, wrong warp straight into this room, so you just skip the entirety of the Shadow Temple. Well, you don't skip the entirety, you go in, do, like, a minute of the dungeon to get the hover boots. And then you skip the entire temple.
There we go. Snowdozer getting a bunch of hits off. Still got 2 fairies. I think Snowdozer's going to pretty easily finish off Bongo Bongo on the second attempt.
I think this is the only boss that you can stun lock with normal slashes. I think every other boss requires, like, some advanced technique.
Yeah, and I've talked before, I once did a playthrough of this game where I played with deliberately never using Z-targeting. Bongo Bongo is tough without Z-targeting.
I think it should be one more hit for Snowdozer. Keeps timing it at exactly the wrong time.
There's Indie Filter with the dot done, finishing with an SRL time of 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 26 seconds. And here is Snowdozer getting the final blow on Bongo Bongo. All our players finishing today's goal in a pretty reasonable amount of time, which hopefully that works in their favor because this is the easy one. Next week's goal is, I'm not going to say it's hard, but next week's goal is going to definitely be a long one.
There are parts that I could see people having issues with, depending on how they are actually controlling the game for reasons.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. Oh, I just realized that's not gonna be easy.
Snowdozer's gonna
for
have
Snowdozer.
problems.
But the good news is they don't have to be very precise. I think it'll be fine. I think Snowdozer's setup won't be an issue.
I hope not.
Oh no, he stepped into the blue warp. He failed the trick. I'm so sad that I failed Fire Temple Rock Warp. I spent like 3 days practicing that so I could do my segment, and then I messed it up anyway. Which means I had to go get the hookshot too.
Yeah, Snowdozer was really close there. That was impressive. Snowdozer was in a really good spot there. Almost could have could have taken Maurice, but got stuck a little bit there. So that is the end of the Shadow Temple. We've only got one more major dungeon left in the game, and we will have all of our medallions, and we'll be ready to defeat Ganon and save the universe from his evil powers that are apparently threatening the entire universe.
Well, he does have, you know, the Triforce of the Gods.
I mean, he does have the power to basically wish for anything he wants.
Yep.
You know, Bowser had that too. He didn't really do much of that.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but Bowser never really does much for that. I mean, you've seen the end cutscene for Mario Odyssey. You forgot that Mario is actually a rom-com.
I think more Mario games should be a rom-com. It worked well for Venom. I think it could work for Mario.
I mean, they all kind of are.
There's the purple medallion. The grape-flavored pizza.
The grape
Gross.
flavored pizza.
That makes me
Yeah, it's
upset.
the purple pizza.
Could just be covered in red onion.
I mean, what if it was just eggplant pizza?
Yeah, but I don't think you usually see the eggplant skin on things you put eggplants in.
I mean, maybe?
Yeah, if it's purple, it tastes like purple. Artificial purple.
All right, and there is the dot done from Snowdozer. Finishes with an SRL time of 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 32 seconds. And so that's everybody completing today's goal. Everybody doing a great job on this dungeon.
Oh, the race times are really close.
Yeah, this was
Snowdozer is
very close.
Yeah, the total time Snowdozer is 20 minutes behind Indie Filter, and Pufferfish King is like 4 minutes behind Maurice.
Wow, okay. Yeah, this one, this definitely lost some time for Maurice in today's goal. Getting a little bit lost, trying to do things the clever way, and Nintendo games are designed to punish you if you are clever. Nintendo games are designed for you to read the instructions and do exactly what they say without deviation, because Nintendo hates independent thinkers. All right, so that is the end of today's race. We're done for this week. Hopefully all our racers enjoyed a relatively short goal here. Unfortunately, the next one's going to be a little bit longer. There's quite a bit in the next goal to do. So next week we'll get to see the Spirit Temple, and we'll get a change of pace here. The last 4 goals have been a lot of retreading parts of Hyrule we've already seen. But next week, I'm pleased to tell everybody we're going to get to see one of the best areas of the game. We get some new content. We finally get to see a new part of Hyrule, and we get to listen to one of the greatest songs, I think, in this entire game, the Gerudo Desert theme. Really popular theme, so I hope everybody enjoys getting some great music and some great areas. So thank you again, TPC, for creating the Pace Bin and joining me for commentary today.
Always a fun time. Especially because I don't have to play these 2 segments.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see what we've got going on. So we've got some action on Mystery Fun Shack. They just started, so let's go ahead. We'll raid Mystery Fun Shack. Looks like they've got a race of a reject tournament. MDK, too confusing. I've played MDK 2. That's a pretty good one. So let's go ahead and raid Mystery Fun Shack. We'll be back again next week with another dungeon in Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. We'll get to check out the legendary Spirit Temple, and we've only got 2 segments left before we beat the game. So not a whole lot of game left. So hopefully you folks had fun, and you'll join us again next week here on the Mystery Funhouse so that we can see another exciting race of Ocarina of Time Blind. Definitely don't miss that. So everybody have a good evening, and we'll catch you again here on the Mystery Funhouse channel.